Few players in the history of esports command the amount of respect and admiration that Ceeeeeeeb does now, especially after his recent victory with OG at the International 2019. He's become one of the most successful Dota 2 players in the world with his recent triumph at Shanghai. But things weren't always this good for the French superstar. Just a few years ago, he hit rock bottom and had considered quitting Dota for good. Now, he's a two-time TI champion, arguably the best offlaner in the world and a multi-millionaire, and a true esports legend. This is the story of Ceeeeeeeb, aka effing mad. Ceeeeeeeb's career in Dota 2 kicked off alongside Team Shakira with his good friend Soxka. The team gained notoriety after the 4th place finish at DreamHack Winter in 2011. Though they were not the strongest in the European region, they were picked up by Western Worlds. However, soon after, Ceeeeeeeb and Soxka left the team in order to go join Cinderin in MTW. The MTW organization would end up making it to the International 2012 after winning the Western qualifiers.
Finally, the kill is done! MTW take it! They will travel to Seattle for the International! Finally, we can say it!
They continued to gain momentum, winning tournament after tournament. Most notably, they defeated the then dominant Navi and 15 other teams at DreamHack Summer 2012 to claim the title before heading into the International 2012 as one of the Western favorites.
Effing mad to lose friends.
However, TI2 proved to be a disaster for Ceeeeeeeb and MTW as they crashed out of the tournament at last place. After this utter disappointment of a performance, Ceeeeeeeb left MTW and moved on to reform Team Shakira along with Soxka. This team was rather unstable as they underwent several changes, and it was clear that they weren't serious contenders heading into TI3. The team headed into the International 2013's Western qualifiers under the DT Dota banner. With a relatively good performance, Ceeeeeeeb finished in 2nd place and booked the game against the Chinese organization Rattlesnake in the wildcard match. A win here would grant the Europeans a berth in TI3. Even though the fans and the analysts gave the edge to Ceeeeeeeb and his team.
I think Quantic maybe. Everybody's saying a little bit Quantic, but
I think it was. I would have predicted 60-40 Quantic going in, and Dota 2 launch looks like it's like 63-37.
Which is exactly what we base all our predictions on. Is the masses.
Wow.
But
The game proved to be another disaster. They failed once again, losing against the Chinese veterans 3-1 in a series that included the infamous boar stun by Soxka.
He's not Oh no! 4 seconds stun on Sock, and now maybe I'll go the other way, but you just won, my man.
After the tournament came to a close, the team disbanded. Ceeeeeeeb and Soxka once again left the team as a duo in order to start a team under the French organization Sigma Int. At the start, the team had several good results, qualifying and securing top 4 finishes in various LAN events and beating some of the best teams in the world at that time, including Navi and Alliance. However, months of mediocrity followed, which concluded in Sigma disbanding before the TI4 qualifiers. Ceeeeeeeb left the team and tried out at various other teams, including Denial Esports, Basically Unknown, Fire, and even Alliance, none of which really clicked. He slowly lost prominence as a pro player and eventually stopped competing professionally.
Yeah, I was asked if I was interested, to be an analyst, and I couldn't because of personal schedule. Even if it was me just being a spectator amongst 10K, that would still be worth it,
It was around this time Ceeeeeeeb started working as an analyst. He paneled at some of the greatest events of that time, including ESL1 Frankfurt 2014, ESL1 New York in the same year, the International 2015. He even stated that he had pretty much given up on Dota at around this point. Then came one of the biggest opportunities of his career. No Tail and Fly noticed Ceeeeeeeb and his immense knowledge of the game. They decided that he'd be the perfect fit for the team, and he was offered a coaching role in OG, one of the most dominant teams in the circuit at that time. The move paid off almost immediately, with OG's success in the Manila Major being largely accredited to the French mastermind. OG received a direct invite to TI6 that year as a result of their incredible performances. However, Ceeeeeeeb just couldn't help himself after he saw the stark difference in quality between the North American and the European qualifier. He sparked a war of words with the Lord of Salt himself.
Salt. It has to be America's favorite flavoring.
And verbally threatened him after PPD landed a particularly nasty zinger. He would have been hoping to prove PPD wrong at TI6. Unfortunately, despite entering the tournament as favorites, OG were caught unaware by two SEA teams and were eliminated from the tournament in the 12th place.
Two-time major winners, you are gone! The Filipinos have eliminated OG! TNC have done it!
Miracle, Moon Meander and Crit departed from the team after that failure, but the trio of No Tail, Fly and Seb stuck together. They picked up S4, Jerax and Anna as replacements to have another crack at that elusive Ages of Champions. Seb and OG started the season well, winning the Boston Major and the Kiev Major in a dominant fashion. However, TI7 seemed to be another brick wall for OG, as once again they failed to make it count. After a poor performance in the group stage, they were relegated to the lower bracket where they were eliminated after a loss against LGD Gaming. The road to TI8 was significantly bumpy for OG and Seb. After replacing Anna with Resolution, their magic in the majors seemed to have completely vanished. They barely got themselves any TPC tournaments, and even if they did, they underperformed and dropped out without winning it. This led to Resolution's departure from the roster. Seb donned his playing gloves once again as he gradually became a full-time player for OG. However, OG only managed to win one of the 22 DPC events scheduled in the 2017-18 DPC season. This led to the team finally imploding at ESL1 Birmingham as Fly and S4 left the team to join Evil Geniuses, leaving OG in shambles. However, Seb and OG did not give up. They regrouped, picking up Anna and Thompson and stormed through the European qualifiers of TI8 to make it to the main event. There they would go on an unbelievable underdog run, which saw them come face to face against Fly and S4 in Evil Geniuses. They overcame them and eventually ended up winning the whole tournament in the most unlikely fashion, securing themselves the Ages of Champions. Seb went from a struggling player failing to make it to TIs to a broadcast talent and then to a TI champion. It was one of the most bizarre underdog runs that we have ever seen. After their triumph at TI8, Anna took a brief hiatus from competitive Dota and OG chose to not compete at the Kuala Lumpur Major.
That's why we play support. Because when it matters, we cannot count on you.
Seb's old friend and teammate, Sokshka, joined OG as a coach. However, they failed to qualify for the CQ Major and the Dream League Major. As a result, some of the Dota 2 community began to call OG's triumph at TI8 a one-off fluke. However, Anna made his much-awaited return. Seb and OG turned up the heat at the MDL Disneyland Major and the Epicenter Major, comfortably securing a spot for TI9 with decent performances at both the events, showing glimpses of brilliance that we had seen at the previous international. Finally, TI9 kicked off with No Tail returning the Ages of Champions to the pedestal. Little did we know that 6 days later, OG would reclaim it with one of the most dominant showings we have ever seen at a TI. OG did not drop a single series, once again pulling out some of the most unorthodox combos we have ever witnessed on the main stage of TI, and easily dominated teams left, right and center, all the way until the grand finals, which they won 3-1 with ease to become the first ever two-time TI champion. Seb became one of the first players to ever host the Ages of Champions twice and cemented his place in the history of Dota as one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Where will his journey take him now? Can he pull off a hat-trick at TI10? Sokshka. How do you say this name? Seb's career.